Noam Chomsky, the ever-prolific political activist and linguist, has cast a long shadow over intellectual discourse for over half a century. His critiques of American foreign policy, power structures, and media narratives have resonated deeply with those disillusioned by the pronouncements of governments and established institutions. Chomsky argues that beneath the veneer of benevolent global leadership lies a relentless pursuit of power and dominance, often at the expense of vulnerable populations around the world. This pursuit, he contends, is masked by a carefully constructed narrative propagated by a complicit media and supported by a class of intellectuals he terms the new Mandarins. Chomsky's work is not merely an academic exercise in political theory, it is a call to action. He implores individuals to critically examine the information they consume, to question the pronouncements of authority figures, and to actively resist systems of oppression and injustice. The rise of the new Mandarins, architects of American empire. Chomsky's concept of the new Mandarins is central to his critique of American foreign policy. He argues that these intellectuals, often affiliated with prestigious universities and think tanks, play a crucial role in shaping public opinion and justifying the actions of the state. During the Vietnam War, Chomsky asserts, the new Mandarins were instrumental in providing intellectual cover for a brutal and ultimately futile military intervention. They constructed elaborate theories about the domino effect, the need to contain communism, and the inherent righteousness of the American cause. Chomsky argues that the new Mandarins, despite their purported commitment to objectivity and intellectual rigor, often exhibit a remarkable degree of conformity when it comes to supporting the foreign policy objectives of the American state. Unveiling the mask power and dominance in U.S. foreign policy. At the heart of Chomsky's critique of American foreign policy lies a fundamental belief that the United States, despite its rhetoric about freedom and democracy, is driven by a relentless pursuit of power and dominance on the global stage. Chomsky points to a long history of American interventions in Latin America, the Middle East and Southeast Asia, as evidence of this pursuit of power. These interventions, he argues, are often justified on humanitarian grounds or as necessary to combat communism or terrorism. However, Chomsky contends that the real motives are often far more cynical, involving a desire to secure access to resources, to protect American business interests, or to prevent the emergence of any potential challengers to American dominance. He encourages individuals to examine the historical record, to consider the perspectives of those on the receiving end of American foreign policy, and to draw their own conclusions about the true nature of American power. The economic machine, corporate interests, and global hegemony. Chomsky's critique of American power extends beyond the realm of foreign policy to encompass the very structure of the American economic system. He argues that the United States is not a true democracy but rather a plutocracy, a system in which the wealthy and powerful, particularly large corporations, exert disproportionate influence over the political process and shape policies to serve their own interests. Chomsky contends that the American economic system is designed to prioritize corporate profits over the needs of ordinary citizens. He points to policies such as deregulation, free trade agreements, and tax cuts for the wealthy as evidence of this bias. Chomsky's analysis of the American economic system is rooted in a belief that true democracy requires economic justice. Section 5. A New Left, A New Revolution, Chomsky, and the Call for Radical Change. Noam Chomsky's searing critiques of American power, imperialism, and corporate greed resonated deeply with the burgeoning New Left movement of the 1960s. This generation, disillusioned by the Vietnam War and yearning for a more just and equitable society, found in Chomsky's work a powerful articulation of their own burgeoning discontent. Chomsky's call for radical social change, for a dismantling of the structures of power that perpetuated injustice and inequality, provided both a framework for understanding the ills of the world and a roadmap for action. Chomsky drew inspiration from anarchist thinkers like Rudolf Rocker and Murray Bookchin, envisioning a society based on direct democracy, worker self-management, and a profound respect for individual liberty. They saw in Chomsky's vision a path towards a truly free and egalitarian society, one where power resided not in the hands of the state or the party, but in the hands of the people themselves. Section 6. Defending the Indefensible? Chomsky's Controversial Stances. Noam Chomsky's unwavering commitment to challenging power structures and exposing injustice has led him to take positions that have sparked heated controversy and drawn accusations of hypocrisy. His steadfast defense of freedom of speech, even for those with whom he vehemently disagrees, has been a cornerstone of his career. Yet it is this very principle that has landed him in the crosshairs of criticism for defending individuals and groups accused of horrific crimes. One of the most contentious aspects of Chomsky's legacy is his defense of those he considers victims of American imperialism, even when those individuals or groups have themselves been accused of committing atrocities. Chomsky's critics argue that his willingness to defend the indefensible, to rationalize or downplay the crimes of those he perceives as victims of American imperialism, reveals a dangerous blind spot in his thinking. Chomsky, for his part, remains steadfast in his belief that all voices, even those considered reprehensible by mainstream society, deserve to be heard, and that the pursuit of truth and justice requires a willingness to challenge dominant narratives, even when doing so proves uncomfortable or unpopular. Section 7. Manufacturing consent, media, propaganda, and the illusion of democracy. Central to Noam Chomsky's critique of power is his analysis of the media's role in shaping public opinion and manufacturing consent for the agendas of the powerful. In his seminal work, Manufacturing Consent, co-authored with Edward S. Herman, Chomsky argues that the media, far from serving as a watchdog of democracy, often functions as a propaganda arm of the state and corporate interests. Chomsky and Herman posit a propaganda model of media, arguing that media outlets, beholden to advertisers and owned by massive corporations, are inherently biased towards maintaining the status quo. They contend that the media achieves this by filtering information, marginalizing dissenting voices, and promoting narratives that serve the interests of the powerful. Chomsky's work encourages individuals to become critical consumers of media, to question the narratives presented to them, and to seek out alternative sources of information. Section 8. A Legacy of Dissent, Chomsky's Enduring Impact. Noam Chomsky's legacy as a public intellectual and dissident is both profound and contested. His relentless critiques of American foreign policy, corporate power, and media narratives have earned him a devoted following among activists, intellectuals, and those disillusioned by the pronouncements of those in power. His work has inspired countless individuals to question the status quo, to challenge dominant narratives, and to actively resist systems of oppression and injustice. Chomsky's impact extends far beyond academia. His writings have been translated into dozens of languages, and his lectures and interviews have drawn massive audiences worldwide. Despite his influence, Chomsky remains a controversial figure. His critics accuse him of being overly pessimistic, of focusing too much on the negative aspects of American society and foreign policy. Chomsky's supporters counter that his critiques are rooted in a deep love for his country and a desire to see it live up to its ideals. Section 9. Conclusion. A world still in need of unmasking. Noam Chomsky's work remains as relevant today as it was decades ago. In a world grappling with climate change, economic inequality, rising authoritarianism, and the proliferation of misinformation, his critiques of power, imperialism, and the media's role in shaping public opinion offer a vital framework for understanding the challenges we face. Chomsky's unwavering commitment to challenging the status quo, to speaking truth to power, and to advocating for a more just and equitable world serves as a beacon for those who refuse to accept the world as it is and who dare to envision a better future. His work reminds us that the pursuit of justice and equality is an ongoing struggle, one that requires constant vigilance and a willingness to speak out against injustice, even when doing so is unpopular or inconvenient. Chomsky's legacy is a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, the human spirit, driven by a thirst for justice and a belief in the possibility of a better world, can make a difference.